I'm Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my podcast where I chat about knitting, crochet, sewing and the books I've been reading. Today is the 3rd of March 2023. I'm currently having a week off work. I'm on annual leave with my husband and we've had a really lovely, peaceful week at home. And I've managed to get quite a lot of knitting and crochet in. I've found since the last podcast, this whole year, I feel like I haven't had the time that I normally do. And I don't really know why. I think it could possibly be that I've got a few projects on the go that I just have lost a bit of interest in. So it's hard to summon up the enthusiasm. So this week I've cast on a few new things, which has been really enjoyable. So first of all, I'll show you what I'm wearing. I've worn this jumper before. It's the rosary jumper or sweater, and it's a vintage pattern that Rosary Apparel has been able to share. And if you sign up to her newsletter, you can get this free pattern. It's a jumper made in pieces, so a front, a back and the sleeves, and it's in beautiful travel knitter yarn, DK weight in the Pirates Bay colourway. I'm not overly happy with the sizing of this. It feels too big in the arms, really big. I know some sleeves are meant to be like that, but this just feels out of proportion. And I did add, after I'd finished, I did add a bit of extra. You can sort of see there where I've added a bit of extra length. It's a really pretty pattern and it's beautiful yarn, but I don't feel very comfortable in it. I was thinking the other day, I've only got a couple of, like a jumper and a cardigan that actually feel like I've got a good fit on. So I really need to I feel like I either want to make another repeat of the jumper and the cardigan that I know are a really good fit, and really think about the next jumper or cardigan I make, either doing a swatch. I tend to make things that are always too big, and I think that, well, I am a tight knitter, so I tend to go up in needle size, and maybe that's probably why I end up with a bigger garment. There's certain bits that do fit, but I think where this is right off the shoulder, I don't think it's meant to be a drop shoulder, so already, that's too big. So like I say, I think if the sleeve was in the right place, the sleeve would be the right length, but it's still far too big. So yeah, but I've got a thermal vest under here, so you can really see that pretty pattern, that lacy pattern, which is lovely. And the yarn is beautiful. It's really, really nice. Okay, so let's get on with what I've been making. Let's have a cup of tea first. Oh, and also thank you for joining me. Thank you if you are new. I've had a few new subscribers, and also thank you if you keep coming back. I love the communication we have through the comments. It's always so positive, so thank you for that. Also thank you for any Ko-fi donations. I've received a few of them lately, and that's really really appreciated. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Okay, so let's start with the Habitation Throw. I showed you this last time. This was my Advent make, which I'm working my way through. I'm using my Beehive. Oh look, I'm right in the middle of a row. That's not like me. I don't normally do that. Oh well. So yeah, this is Beehive Yarn's Advent from December, and I think last time I was up to about this dark reddy colour. The colours are the seasons. There's six colours of spring, summer and autumn, and I'm on the autumn ones now. I've just got 2 more to go to add. It is beautiful yarn, lovely colours. So I'm currently, it makes a triangle with all your increases, and then when you've used up half your yarn, then you start doing decreases and it will turn it into a square, I imagine, or a rectangle. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Really beautiful yarn. So this is fingering weight yarn. Each stripe is 10 grams, but the minis were 20 grams. So I've been splitting them in half, and then I will work my way back. So these are the winter colours, lots of sort of greens and a bit of a brown. And once I've done those, I think I'm going to then go backwards, starting with green and then working my way back through autumn, summer and spring. So like a mirror image of where it started. Some of these greens were very, very similar. Not too much difference between them, but beautiful all the same. But yeah, it's a lovely project to work on. Really simple. I can highly recommend it. And even though the rows are getting longer, it doesn't take too long. It's still an enjoyable, you know, if you just do a row here and a row there, it's lovely to work on. So I don't really know how I'm going to use it once it's finished. I know it's a throw, but I don't know if I would use it as a scarf, or might, you know, fold it in half so it's a triangle and wear that sort of as a scarf. Yeah, I have to see, and I can't at the moment work out actually how big it's going to be. And I might not necessarily block it, but yeah, have any of you made the Habitation Throw? And do you use it as a blanket or a throw on your chair or settee? Yeah, let me know. But look at the colour. It's, I don't even know if it's not really probably showing up on the screen, but it's so, oh yeah, there, look, lots of variations. It's really tonal. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting the autumn colours done, and then onto the winter. So yeah, in this week I decided to cast on something new, and I saw my mum and dad recently, and my dad showed me an old hat that I'd made him a long time ago, and it was in a sorry state. It was only made from acrylic yarn, and there didn't seem to be any elastic or any kind of give in it. It was completely stretched and just looked like a bowl, so it would sit on his head but be very big and baggy. And where it's been fairly cold lately as well, he's been wearing it in bed. So I thought, oh, I'm going to make him a hat using some lovely yarn. I have made him things with wool before. I've made him socks, and I've made him a lovely cow in some really luxurious yarn, and he really likes it. So I had some blue yarn. This is the Knitting Shed Slubby Sock, held double with Cascade Heritage in a navy colour. This is 75/25, so there is a bit of nylon in this. And I just went through my little library on my phone of patterns and found the Violet Waffles hat, which I've never made before. It's a free pattern. I'll link it below in the arrow that says more. If any of you have never looked there before, I put all the links to patterns and yarn if it's available. So check that out if you're interested. But yeah, it's a really lovely textured pattern, really simple. Now the pattern, and again, this is me always thinking I'm a tight knitter. I think you have to cast on 108 stitches, but I thought I'll do more for my dad, and so I went up to 120 stitches. Let me just tell you what needles I used. So yeah, I used 4.5 millimetre for the rib and 5.5 for the rest of the hat. And I followed the pattern for this pattern, but I just did extra. I did a bit deeper for the rib, and then I kept trying it on my husband to work out when to stop and when to start decreasing. I'll show you it on me. Now it's quite loose and big on me, but on my, oh look at it, isn't it lovely? But on my husband it's quite a tight beanie, so I imagine it'll be similar for my dad. Which is fine, sometimes that's nice, isn't it, to have a nice tight hat. Oh, I love it. I'm partly hoping that this will be too tight for my dad and I'll keep it for myself. But if not, I've got enough yarn to make another one in exactly this size, which I will do for me. Oh, but that texture is really, really lovely. It's really squishy. So it's not really slouchy, but I'm just trying to show you that it's loose. So I'll keep it on for a minute. So because I was then worried, oh, it's going to be too tight, I thought I'd make another one. So for the second one, I went up to a 5.5mm for the rib and a 6.5 for the hat. So essentially this is a DK weight yarn. So I don't know what other people use, but I think, again, just shows you probably how tight I am with my knitting. So I made another hat here. It's not really showing the colour very well. It is a little bit, it's quite tonal. And this is this yarn. Now in 2019, I joined a yarn club with Ysolda, where you would have a surprise yarn and pattern, and this was one of the yarns. And this is 100% wool, and it's 75% Blueface Leicester, 25% mid-brown Masham, and again in a DK weight. Yeah, so it sounds like, oh sorry, I'm just reading what it says about the yarn. No, it doesn't really, sorry, I'm just reading, getting a bit confused. Yeah, so this is a bit bigger. You can just see it's different wool anyway. But this is far too big for me, but I'm hoping it will. Oh, isn't it lovely? But the pattern is really lovely. I can highly recommend that. It's a very simple, this violet waffle, this waffle stitch just gives that really lovely texture. But it's a bit bigger. So I'm hoping that this will be big, will fit my dad fine. The other thing is, I suppose you could turn up, you could do that, couldn't you? You could have if it was too big, you could just turn the rib. No, that looks a bit too baggy. I think it needs to be like that. Yeah, what do you think? It's a lovely colour though, isn't it? So it's a bit more of like a petrol blue. It looks a bit similar to this, but it's a bit more tealy, petrol-y blue compared to this navy. But look at the different flecks in here. This, the yarn I was saying, it was Cascade Heritage, but also the Knitting Shed Slubby Sock. They don't do that Slubby Sock anymore. And it's such a shame because it's really lovely. And I had it in navy and I had it in grey, but not everyone likes these slubby bits, but yeah, I quite like it. So potentially my dad's got two new hats in different sizes, but yeah, I think he'll like them. It feels lovely to wear. It's very soft, really lovely. Hand washing recommended. Now I do remember that this came with an undyed yarn, which I put in a jumper, and then I think I put it in the washing machine and felted it. So disappointed because it is really lovely, squishy, soft yarn. But I don't think, I'll tell my dad, I don't think he'll wash the hat anyway. So yeah, really pleased. I'd not made a hat for ages and was able to make this in a couple of days. So that's been really lovely in my week, having sort of lengthy amounts of time to just work on a project and get it finished. those kind of quick wins are always nice, aren't they? A nice feeling. It also made me think of all the yarns I've got, like just, you know, if you've got random skeins that you can turn into hats, especially the DK. I've got quite a lot of DK at the moment, and this probably takes about 50 to 60 grams. So yeah, to be able to get 1 or 2 hats out of one skein of yarn, you know, it's lovely. And also this feeling of combining yarns together, you know, holding 2 fingering weights to create the DK weight, get, you know, lots of lovely lovely different yarns. You know, the colour is just not what you were expecting. Yeah, really happy with them. I then was really, and I don't know, anyone that's watched me before knows I really love using up every little bit of yarn, and I'd made some sort of fingerless wrist warmers recently, and then was left again with about 50 grams of yarn out of a 100 gram skein. So I thought I would make the lovely Heath hand warmers, which I've made loads of. I've shown you, I think nearly every episode I show you a pair. But the wrist warmers I gave as a gift to my friend, and I thought, well, I'll also give her these as well. Let me show you them first and I'll put them on. So these are the Heath hand warmers by Ali, Little Drops of Wonderful Ali. It's a fantastic pattern with lots of videos, really clear instructions, and I just adapt mine every time. The main thing was I needed to be able to use up every bit of yarn, so I just split my yarn in 2, and then I made these concurrently, which is a word I don't very often use. I don't tend to do knitting or crochet like that, but I just did it yeah, row by row, row 1, you know, on each hand, so I knew that I was doing them exactly the same. I do normally write everything down, but it just gave me that really nice feeling of having them finished at the same time, and I did these, yeah, in a afternoon and evening. So to have them finished was lovely. The thumb is just so nice. Look at that. It's such a neat thumb. And I often, I've said this before, but I will often adapt and either make the wrist a bit longer or the finger part a bit longer. And sometimes I've made the thumb a bit longer as well. Yeah, this Beehive Yarn, it was her Enchanted Yarn Club from last year, and this was the January colourway. Lots of peaches, greys, and little flecks. There's some little flecks of blue. Really nice. So yeah, it's my friend's birthday in March, and I'll be gifting her these, which I think she'll really appreciate. I like seeing yarn in knitting and crochet because it just comes up so different. In fact, I wonder if I've got a picture of the knitted ones. Yeah. So there were the knitted wrist warmers. That was a lovely pattern. The Wintertide wrist warmers by Candy Patch Designs. Yeah, just to see the peaches and the greys. Yeah, so I think my friend will be really happy with them. And that is my makes so far since the last podcast. Oh no, it's not. One more. Last time I showed you, Helen from Woolly Chic asked me to be a tester for her new crochet pattern, and I've made a start on that. And the pattern is the Tada crochet top pattern, which is made up of granny squares and then corner to corner to finish it off. And I think I might have mentioned last time I was a bit nervous about the corner to corner, which I've never done before, but Helen has recently put 2 videos up showing how to do that, and in particular sort of to help with this pattern. So you have to make 30 granny squares, and I've made 15, and I'm using this Katia yarn, cotton. It's really soft, 100% organic cotton, and there are 3 variations of the granny square. I'll just show you. So there are 3 colours which you then alternate to make different. So the mixture of the dark blue, the light blue and the pink surrounded by the grey. It took me a while to get gauge, and again the pattern, isn't it lovely just to see a big pile? It's very drapey, very soft, and that's what I was struggling with to get gauge. And Helen suggests using either a 3, a 3.5 or a 4mm hook, depending on the size that you're making. And I had to go up to, let me just check, I think it's a 5.5. Write it down. Oh, I can't seem to find anything today. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Yeah. So I'm making the size large, and I'm using a 5.5mm hook. So yeah, I've just got to make 15 more. The only thing, and again this is because I've just been not necessarily motivated, and I'm really particular about getting all my ends sewn in. Sometimes this has felt a bit of a slog while I've been sort of struggling with crafting lately, just because of having to sew, you know, making a granny square doesn't take me long at all, but doing each bit, I tried different variations of just doing all the centres, and then I soon sort of got bored of just doing those little ones, and I wanted to get on to making it bigger. So yeah, nothing to do with the pattern at all. I think it's just me, how I've been feeling. Whereas sometimes doing that habitation, you're just sort of doing rows and rows. It's quite methodical and quite, what's the word? Like meditative, you know, it's really enjoyable. But lately I've just struggled with, yeah, all the details of each colour and then sewing all the ends in. But it's lovely yarn, it's very, very soft. Sometimes it's been a bit splitty, as in once you've sort of snipped the end, you know, the ply sort of comes undone a bit when you're trying to thread your ends in, but they're all done. I do tend to leave a little one at the back just to show me which is the back and which is the front. But I guess, you know, it's all weaved in, but just left a bit loose, so I'll snip all them off right at the end. So the aim then is to make 15 more and then join them together in a different way that I've not done before, and then get on with the corner to corner. But yeah, I feel yesterday I really was able to feel like I've completed a big part of this project. So yeah, thank you Helen for letting me test it, and I will be looking at your videos for how to do the corner to corner. But it's a very pretty top. Yeah, Helen's got a lovely shop, lots of patterns, lots of yarn. I've used her yarn before, it's lovely. So yeah, that's all the makes so far. Yeah, I felt yeah, a little, even though I've had a lovely week, I felt a little bit flat the last few days. I don't know why. And sometimes you know, crafting makes you feel happy, doesn't it? And sometimes you still need to be motivated to do it. So it could just be that I need to maybe either get on with a project and get it finished, or yeah, start something new. I haven't done any sewing for ages, and I really keep thinking. I've been watching lots of sewing podcasts while I've been on my week off, and feel really inspired. I've got lots of lovely fabric. I'm looking over there because that's where all my fabric is.
and plenty of patterns to choose from. And in April I've got a little sewing retreat every so often, I think about 4 times a year. The studio where I learnt to sew have a day where you just bring your sewing machine and your project, and they lay on all the teas and cakes and lunch, and it's a really lovely, enjoyable day being with other sewers. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I feel like I'd like to make a dress to wear to go there. I'm also going to is it called the stitching show? Not the knitting and stitching, it's the one in Islington. I'm going to that in a few weeks' time at the end of March with my sister, and that's often a lovely day out, and you sort of get inspiration there. I have got plenty of fabric though, I don't really need to buy any fabric, but it will just still be a lovely day out. And Helen from Woolly Chic, she's doing a lovely crochet and afternoon tea. She does them every now and again as well, and I always go to them, so that will be lovely, just being with other crafters. So yeah, and another thing, I've booked to go on the Lay Family Yarn Woolly retreat in November, so that is a real treat, a couple of nights away with other crafty friends, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I've got lots of things to look forward to, but I think I just need to find a project that I'm really enjoying. And it could be that I've had a week off and now I'm thinking, I've got to go back to work tomorrow, and I've sort of got used to a little homely routine, being at home. And it's funny, isn't it? It's a really miserable day today as well, and I'm not really bothered by the weather. It doesn't normally affect my mood at all, but and I have just felt like I wanted to hibernate and just be indoors. Potentially I could just sit on the sofa watching podcasts and knit all day long, and that would be absolutely fine. I would be happy with that. But I suppose you do need to get out and get some fresh air and do other things as well. So yeah, I'll probably be fine once I get back to work as well. I'm just going to show you some of the books I've read too. So since the last podcast, I finished this book. I don't know if any of you have read this or seen the film. I saw the film years and years ago with the lovely Jack Nicholson, and I found this book in a charity shop. It's only £1, and for anyone that doesn't know, it's about a mental health hospital, and he actually hasn't got any reason to be there. He sort of fakes it and gets there because he's been in prison, and he's working on I think it's like on a farm, and it's real sort of hard labour, and he sort of fakes a mental health issue to get admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Some of it is quite hard to read, it's quite shocking, and we found out recently, me and my husband, that this was a banned book a while ago, and there was we saw a list of several banned books, which I've read a few of. So yeah, I suppose the big thing is that you hope that the things that go on in this book don't go on in real life in psychiatric hospitals, but obviously we know, in the news quite a lot you hear about horrible things going on for vulnerable people in care. So but this was really good. I couldn't stop thinking about it at the end, and the whole way through, all I could visualise as the main character is Jack Nicholson. It's just he was the perfect character for the film. Apart from in the book, he's got red hair, but he's just the way he is. I could just see him, and it was him. But an amazing book. Yeah, really amazing, but hard. Some bits are very hard to read. So yeah, I would recommend it though. Yeah, brilliant. And then this was recommended by some viewers. So after I read The Island by Victoria Hislop, this is her sequel to The Island, and The Island was about an island in Crete called Spinalonga, where people with leprosy had to go and be and live until a cure was found. And so this was a sequel, and I was a little bit disappointed. I think the island was so amazing. It was really, really interesting and emotional, and yeah, lots of really lovely characters, but this just felt not the same. It was easy to read, but it didn't have it wasn't the island, and I think that's sometimes the issue, isn't it, when you have sequels. But so yeah, it's an easy read. It's not anything horrible, but it was just not as deep or interesting as the island was. I'm currently reading Anne of Green Gables, which is just so lovely. And I didn't read it as a child, but I do remember seeing it on the telly. And again, I can picture the girl character in my mind. But that book was written in 1908, and to think, yeah, you're reading a book of over 100 years ago, and yeah, it's just really fun and sweet and interesting. So I'll chat about that a bit more next time, and hopefully I would have finished that. And soon I'm joining a book club with my work, and we're going to read and work our way through the Richard and Judy books that have been recommended recently. And in WH Smith's, they're all on offer at the moment. Buy one, get one half price, which works out about £6 a book. So I bought all of those books the other day too. So I feel like I've got lots of lovely things to look forward to. So sorry if I sound like I'm a bit miserable, but I am okay. I don't know why I feel a bit flat. So I hope you're all okay, and hopefully I'll get to see you again soon. Let me know what you're all working on, or if you've got any books that you would recommend, or even any patterns that you'd recommend, sewing or knitting and crochet. I feel like I need something to spark me, or to give me all the good feelings. So I might have to make the Just Feel Better shawl, because that's a lovely crochet shawl to work on. But I also really want to do some sewing and make myself something nice to wear. So thank you for watching. Hope you're all okay, and I'll see you soon. Bye.